trip started here in Kathmandu. The following day we visited Bodhnath and Pashupatinath.
Bodhnath again.
After Bodhnath, we got in the bus and drove through the interesting streets of Kathmandu to Pashupatinath.
No, thank you. No, later. Not at all.
These are the cremation ghats for devout Hindus.
Il y a des sadhus qui sont venus juste avec une caisse.
This is the Hindu-only side of the river. Then it was back in the bus for the drive back to the hotel. After our day in Kathmandu, we took a short flight across the foothills of the Himalaya to Pokhara. kawi showing there. Poka Airport. And this is the camp at Poka. Splendid luxury. Tomorrow we move off into the wilds. It's our tent. The trek we are about to embark on took us on a complete circuit of the Annapurna range. This model here shows the route we took, starting at Poka and heading east to Kapitar, then over the ridges to Beglampani and down the other side to the Marsiangi Kola. These tracks were derived from GPS readings taken along the trail. The orange lines are afternoon walks, the blue ones are morning walks. And then it was over the Thorongla, down the other side to Mukdinath, and down the Kaligandaki. We finished up at Beni, where we got a bus back to Pokhara. First day started with a bus trip to Kapitar. Makapachari there again. The road started well but soon deteriorated.
Can't with this lot.
Stopped for some reason that we don't know.
Oh well, yeah.
Backed up the road there. Okay, well this is the problem, that's why we've stopped. Our driver soon got us past this with some skillful driving. After getting to Kapitar, it was just a short walk for the afternoon up to Nima. We've finished the bus ride now and we're at Kapitar having our lunch. I'm just waiting for it. This is the main river. Lunch is being prepared over here. Going to be eating it over here. A very warm afternoon. Rest stop in the latish afternoon on the first day's walking. Warm afternoon. I think that's where we're heading to. Heidi. Somewhere around there. The next day we left Nima, up the valley, then up the ridge, eventually arriving at our camp for the night at Baglampani. This is decamping on the beginning of day 2. Getting here about 5 o'clock last night. It's very hot. I think it's going to be hot again today. I didn't get as far as Paddy yesterday, so we've got a bit further up the river to go today. There's a mist down there, low clouds, early morning. So we're trying to get packed up for an audience. The first rest stop going about half an hour on day 2. Still in the main river valley heading to Pedy. And from there on we go up. It's about 16 degrees they say, but it feels a lot warmer to me. The rest spot going up the hill to Annapurna. It's 10 past 10.
4 बजे त सियर पुग्दैन त हिँड्दो रहेछ नि त
And that's the river we've come up from. Off down a bit. This is our lunch spot on day 2. The hissing sound there is the pressure cooker cooking our lunch. These are the local villagers building a house. They just get together and build their house themselves. Another rest stop a bit further on in the afternoon. It hasn't been quite as steep so far this afternoon, but we've still got a fair way to go.
Just come from when I get home.
Whenever you get the camera out, there are always children around. Bessie's so high. The other side of the ridge we've been climbing, it's in a different watershed. Marcy something or other.
Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, Thailand, Vietnam.
What was so special
Austria.
about that t-shirt?
Just liked it.
I've got a black one as well. I've got a black one that's going as well at the end of this trip. That's done as many places, but it's not as.
Not as pink.
Doesn't have the attachment. This red t-shirt.
I think pink suits you actually, yes.
Very red once.
Nice and pink.
Fire engine red once.
This is the end of day 2 and we're at the camp that should have been at the end of day 3, so we've gained a day. It's getting on a bit. Gone 5 and the porters haven't arrived yet. Sun's just about to go down.
Wagtail, yeah.
We've come across from that ridge over there after climbing up from the river. Quite a long day's walk, we've come up about 1,000 metres. Leaving Annapurna in the morning we crossed the valley and went down to the Marciengi Kola. In the afternoon we walked up the valley to Nagadi. This is breakfast at the start of day 3. The sun's just come up. I'm just getting ready to eat. It's a fairly frantic packing session, as usual. Charlie there, the pointy one. This is looking down towards the way we've got to go. Lots of people here. Mainly little.
Oh yes.
Có xí tiền á.
Do you know in Bangkok Airport you can't buy from them? Can't.
No, it's too easy to do that.
We're down the bottom now and this is our lunch spot. This is looking down the Marsiangi Kola. We'll be following it upstream for the next week or so. Preparing lunch. A nice cool rest spot on the afternoon of day 3. You can really feel the downdraft coming from that waterfall. It's lovely and cool. The following day we headed up the Marsiangi Kola to Sayanji. The morning of day 4, I think. We camped here last night. We're now getting ready to leave. A fairly easy walk, they say, up the valley. We won't climbing it to Sayanji. That's our table awaiting breakfast, and the view behind it is the way we came up yesterday. The cat, first one I've seen. This is down Dender, crossing a sort of a shoulder in the side of the river. We had to come up to 1200 metres to get over it. These are not our donkeys, we don't have them. A nice lunch spot above the river. That's the way we came down over from Boundenda and across the rice fields. Just after lunch now, we're having a bit of a shower. Rolled up in the shelter. After leaving Sayanji, it was another day up the valley to Tal. This is the camp the next morning. At least the rain stopped and the camp's being taken down, but everything's quite soggy still. And this is looking at the way we're going across that bridge and into the village of Cyanga you can see on the left. The way forward, just climbed up a bit above the river and we're heading to that village there. Shura, Schumann and Rinzin. DV the Sirdar. Jason. Here's our lunch spot, a nice place in the sun. Afternoon of day 5, and this is the track we're going along. And we go at the landslide you can see in front there. 2:30 now, and that's the track we've just come along for the last half hour or so. A nice comfortable rest stop at a tea house. And this is the village of Tal where we're going to spend the night. Apparently last year the river didn't flow around this big arc but came across that little gully you can see on the left. Leaving Tal the next morning, we continued up the valley. This time we camped at Timang, high above the river. This is the campsite at Tal. We got in here last night. It's been about 7:15 and about to have breakfast and get off again. In a tea house area. There's the camp dog. And that's the way we'll be going today up here. Rest stop in the morning of day 6. You can see the path ahead winding down there, and somewhere down there we turn round up the valley to the left. among that lot somewhere is Manaslu, hidden by cloud. And this is the way we're heading. Just over 2,100 metres at the moment. This is at the next rest stop. We've just come through ourselves a nice beach forest. Something I don't think we'll see much more of. And just across the valley is all this. Very steep gorge. One of the steepest I've ever seen. This is the camp at the end of day 6. 2.5 or 2,600 metres. It's getting quite cold, it's 10 degrees at the moment. There's a table and chairs. Looking towards Manaslu. That mountain in the background there that you can't quite see. The sun has long gone from this campsite. Continuing upstream, we wended our way up the gorge to Balthang. The first stop of the day, wardrobe stop. Take off a warm gear because we had quite a cool breakfast. So we're going on this more or less a road. That's Manaslu. Fair way away and just visible there through the trees. After a rest stop, porter carrying our tables. This is plain old Ken. The Marcy Angie Cola that we've been following for the last 3 or 4 days. The cooks cook the porters' lunch and feed them before we get ours. And this is the way forward to Balthang. And this is where we're eating. Camp at Balthang. Couldn't do any filming during the afternoon because I didn't have a spare tape. So it was a fairly short, uneventful, quite pleasant, easy walk. Another day upstream, leaving Balthang. We went into the wider, more open country to Pisang. Exactly the same scene as last night, but this time it's being packed up and not put up. This is early morning on day 8. We're just getting ready to have breakfast. Staff taking down the tents and the porters getting ready to carry their loads. There's a high cliff behind the camp. This is the first stop on day 8, and just up there you can see the valley widening out to become a glacially eroded valley rather than a river eroded one. Further on day 8, there's huge rocky slabs on the other side of the valley.
Oh yes. Yeah, we're lucky really, there isn't any. I knew there was a downside to this.
This is the main street of Pissing. We're going to stop and have a lunch camp soon somewhere. And just over to the left here is Chulu East. Annapurna 2. Camp at Pissing. For lunchtime, we've had lunch now. A restful afternoon in the sun. There's a bit of a wind blowing. And looking in the other direction, we'll be heading up this Chulu East. Another day up the valley. We crossed the ridge there, went up the wide open valley to our camp at Manang. Looking forward towards Manang. You can see the airstrip there. We're just on top of the spur you could see in the graphic earlier. Coming into Hundi at 10 o'clock. In the town. Looking up the way we're going from Hundi. This is the lunch spot on day 9 on our way to Manang. Pissing Peak. Afternoon now of day 8. Approaching another town, and that's looking back the way we've come. Says this place is called Baraka or something like that. And this is the gompa built into the hillside. We had a rest day in Manang, which meant we could climb up the valley opposite to look at the glacier. We had good views looking back the way we came as well as forward. This is day 10, a rest day. Next looking at Manang where we camped last night. We're on a little rest day excursion. This is looking down at the camp from the top of the rest day walk. And this is looking at Pisang Peak. Nice little prayer flags and pathways on the top here. Quite a hard climb up and quite icy and slippery. It's going to be fun going down again. This is looking the way we're going tomorrow, and that valley there to the right. This is looking at the way we came up, down in the shade there, not the path along the ridge top. Although we were to take the ridge top track on the way back. That's Glacial Lake, and the Marsaengi Kola flying there. Back at the camp after the day walk. And that little building in the back is where we have our meals. It's very nice and cosy. It's even got electricity. After the rest day at Manang, it was off again, continuing up the valley, past Yak Kaka, and we ended up camping at Lettar. It's the Chalton at Upper Manang. Looking ahead to where we're going. Not only us. It was a bit more crowded today. A bit further on day 11, on the way to Yak Kaka. An indication of what's to come. I've just come across that bridge. And that's the way forward. I'm after getting on for about 4,000 metres now. It's quite cool. Come up beyond Yak Kaka. We're about 4.2 now. Back up there tomorrow. There are the tents. Looking back at the Annapurna range. tent here.
Come on!
The last day before the pass was a fairly short walk up to Thurong Pedi. We were there by lunchtime. Here we are on day 12, heading for Thurong Pedi after a very cold night and a cold breakfast, and we just come up from down there. This is the first rest stop. It's only a very short way, I haven't got far to go today. Up there somewhere, there in the corner. Halfway through the morning of day 12. Looking forward. Where we're going. Thurong Pedi's down there to the left. This is the camp. About 4,600 metres. Quite high now. This is looking back the way we came up. And this is the way we're heading tomorrow. Get up at 3 in the morning to attempt this climb. We're straight up after Thurong Pedi, over the Thurong Bar, down the other side. Very steep drop, and we ended up camping at Mukdeneth. Merry trekkers on top of Thurong Bar. How do you feel, mate?
Good to see. Where's Sue? Far behind? No.
Well, this is the top. It's all downhill from here.
Remember, Jason, this is only your first.
Yeah. You can't join the.
And I'll tell you what, you really need one of these if you're going to do it properly.
Oh yes, yeah. You see how fast he went.
Exactly. The only thing that stopped me slipping or falling over was, I mustn't get this sport for Jason.
Yes, so.
Well done.
Made it.
Everybody's had a hug. Come on.
She did the face plant on the rock from the arse. Did you see that? It was spectacular. Face plant.
Wasn't so hard after all, was it?
Yes.
Welcome
It
to
was
the
excellent.
We Never Do It Again Club.
Very breathless, yeah.
Yeah, that last bit went on a bit, didn't it? Come round
All
the corner,
downhill
there's a
from
bit
here.
more of it.
I didn't see you with your video camera out.
You didn't see
I was
me?
very disappointed.
What do you mean?
Where's the video of the sunrise?
Oh no. I just,
Well, it would have been straight into it.
yeah, and I couldn't think of anything but just getting here. After the summit it was downhill with the occasional rest stop. This is Dalagiri from the bottom of the pass. And we're going to camp down there tonight somewhere. Hopefully not too far, it's been a very hard day. Over the Thorn Bar, I forgot the name of it for a bit then. That's why we've come down, somewhere up there. Very tough descent as well as the ascent in the dark this morning. Yeah, it's the Thorn Bar. This is where we spend the night. The view from the camp looking out over Mukdeneth. Continuing down now, we followed the river down till we reached the Karligandaki. After quite a long walk, we came to our campsite at Marfa. First stop of the day. Still on the way to Marfa, still early in the morning. Actually looking down on the river that flows past down through Mukdeneth. This is looking forward down into the Karligandaki. Just looking up the Karligandaki now towards Mustang. There's Kekbeni. Looking downstream, overheaded. After leaving Marfa, we followed further down the Karligandaki. It was a moderately easy day. We had a nice camp at Kalapani. This is the camp at Marfa. We're just getting ready to leave in the morning. It's just too windy and dusty to do any videoing last afternoon. It was like walking through a sandblaster. Issue there. And the DB on the left is the Sirdar. Local bus. These roads don't actually connect with the outside world, so all the vehicles had to be helicoptered in. First rest stop of the day. Looking the way ahead, so the gear is on the right hand side. Walking on towards lunch spot. Not much further now. A little bit of breeze getting up, but it's not the sandblaster. This is just after lunch and we've crossed the river and climbed up above it. No doubt soon be going back down again. The camp's about an hour away in that direction. Well, the end of another day, here we are. At our camp at Kalapani. Nice one this time, not in the grounds of a tea house, amongst the pine trees. Fairly short, easy day today. All the tents are up. We're waiting for the washing water. This day was to be much longer. We continued down the Kali Gandaki. Eventually arriving at Tatapani, our campsite for the night. 8:30 the next day now. The penultimate day's full walk. We've just come across that bridge, having come down that slope the other side there. This is the Kali Gandaki following a steep river eroded gorge. And that's where we're going, and that's our comrades. This is towards the end of the day and hopefully we're getting near Tatapani. Still looking down the Kali Gandaki gorge that we've been walking down for the last 3 days. And Tatapani's down that way somewhere, hopefully not too far. That's the end of a long hard day. Here we are at Tatapani campsite. The porters haven't arrived yet, it's 10 to 5. We're just sitting and waiting. We're a bit tired. And just looking back up to where we've just come. The last day's full walk took us further down the Kali Gandaki, stopping before Beni at the town of Galeswall. First rest stop on the last day. It's about 8:45 now. And we're heading further down the Kali Gandaki towards Beni. And there's the Kali Gandaki. Part of the trail going back down to the river. And there's the mighty Kali Gandaki.
Guarding the belly.
our final lunch spot. We're on the way to our camp, which is just before Benny at Galeswall. The Carligan Dark is just down there past the bridge on the other side. Kunres supervising lunch. He's done a marvellous job. It's been an easy walk this afternoon along this road. This is the camp at the end of almost the last day. Last day in these tents anyway. Poker tomorrow night. The mess tent with our biscuits awaiting us. Still in the hills, but bit of a town here. The Paradise Hotel. On the last day it was just a short hour's walk down the valley to Benny, where we got the bus back to Poco.